Welcome everyone to Walking After Whiskey. I'm Shorty.
And I'm Travis. We're going to break down your latest episode of The Walking Dead tonight.
We're also going to break down some top shelf whiskey.
Yes. We're breaking down Crown Royal's Bourbon Mash. They have to call it blenders now because it's not made in America. It's amazing whiskey, and I can't wait to drink it.
We're still going to call it bourbon, breaking the law.
Breaking the law.
And we're going to break down Season 9, Episode 3.
Awesome. Let's get to the review, Shorty. I can't believe you did it.
I did it right.
Cheers to that. So we're breaking down Season 9, Episode 3, as Shorty said, amazingly. And the first thing we want to touch on is the happy visions of families and coming together and how everything is coming into fruition.
So we see the whole family gathering, right? Judith has a cold.
Yeah.
So to get her to go to the doctor, they already pre-plan a family day.
Yes.
And so for the first, 5 minutes of the show, we see all the family time happen. So you see the bond that Michonne now has with Judith, the motherly role since, whatever zombie mom is now out of the picture. So you see that going on and just that loving bond. So a lot of it though, you still feel like it's the end of Rick. Like you feel that, like all this foreshadowing going on.
We talked about with Herschel earlier in the season episode, our first episode. The people that bring the light to the show always have that light blown out too early. They're like candles in the wind, right? It really is. And so they have all this brightness and hope for coming into them. It's like, you're the guy to go next. Yeah. And so Rick's talking about planting future with Michonne and planning a family with Michonne, and she's all about it.
Planting the seed with Michonne.
Yeah, planting them seeds.
Planting the seed with Michonne.
Planting them seeds.
So another baby. Maybe Michonne will actually show. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe she'll actually be pregnant.
She'll actually be pregnant in an episode.
A katana and a pregnant belly might be pretty sexy. I gotta say that.
I'll just let that be.
So let's go to just a little bit more meat of the episode, which was Maggie bringing food to the hill to the bridge building.
She doesn't want to do it. Yeah. You feel the tension right off the bat. Clopping in the horse, right? You feel that right off the bat, and then old ex-saviors come. Ex-saviors come and test her, like totally test Maggie.
Yeah.
And she got her henchmen with her, gun loaded, locked and loaded, but
Did it seem where the only guy she was with was the Asian guy? That seemed weird to you too? Like it's Glenn 2.0, half Glenn.
But not as cute as Glenn, and can't replace Glenn, so it's fine.
So as they're walking out to the bridge, they were met by some saviors who were very visibly upset and shaken that they've been missing some friends, especially Justin, who left in the cliffhanger with the last episode.
Right, and they have to explain that. Like, hey, we were just looking for our friend. And everybody, though, like, they're questioning Maggie. Maggie's questioning what their intentions are. So you have that brilliance of kind of tension going on. So it was good. And then they're testing her, though. They're absolutely testing her, and she holds her own. But you feel like they're kind of the weaker two a little bit.
Super tested her. He asked her, "What's your name? I want to dock you for that tomato you stole." And he goes, "You don't know my name, doesn't matter, but you're the widow." Totally putting her back in her place. Like everyone knows exactly who I am, but you hurt her a little bit, you know what I mean?
But then you also see, the blonde, and forgive me, blonde, I don't remember your name, but you see the blonde, like she has to be the one to take control. She's the one dialing everybody back, and you see that happen again later in the episode. So she's definitely the one trying to keep the peace. Yeah. And peace.
She's still limping in this episode. Remember the last when they had the standoff on the hill? She got shot by herself by the gun. And so she's actually limping around still. She has wounds from almost dying up there on the hill from Eugene's amazing bullet making skills. Right. And it brings us back to more turmoil at the bridge. It kind of boils to a head. They find Justin. Actually, Maggie finds him walking on the path with a dart hole in his chest. Right, which brings about a huge fight, and Rick has to talk to Daryl, and Daryl's asked him, what do you want to ask me, Rick?
And again, that whole, what's going to happen. There's going to be something climactic that happens between Rick and Daryl. Like it's been building since season 9 started. It's been building. So first 2 episodes, and you see it again. But I guess Rick tests everybody though. Like I really felt like Rick he was just trying to get that closure with Daryl. Like I don't feel like Rick ever thought that Daryl did it. I don't feel that in the episode at all. And he asks different people, right? He has to kind of do his diligence. He's a cop.
Totally
He's doing his investigation.
It was like a setup. Like Daryl is fire with him.
Right.
And he has an arrow in his chest. Like,
and Daryl knows it's a setup. That's the thing. I think everybody on the good side, so to speak, knows that it's a test.
Yeah.
So everyone's a little scared. But I think that he had to do it. Although I feel like, did you really have to do that?
Right.
Did you really have to do that?
It's funny. Two characters walk around with a arrow propelled object. One is Daryl, and one is this lady from Oceanside, which we'll talk about later.
Absolutely.
Let's get to Jadis, and Gabriel. How crazy is this?
So what the Jadis?
Right?
Seriously. And Jadis, whatever the hell your name is,
Right.
why you gotta be kind of psycho and super secretive?
You're secretive.
And now you got to worry about the preacher. Like, I never cared about the preacher. Like, I really didn't until probably almost this season. Like, I really didn't. You never knew if he was going to turn. You never knew if he was going to bail out. I thought he was always going to be offed in every freaking season.
Sure.
But now, like, he's a character. And now he's, like, an integral part because everybody wants to know what's going to happen to him. So... the whole AB thing, right? That's what we got to figure out, what the AB is.
One thing that we talk about, but I want to bring up to you,
Sure.
is when I watched Jadis on camera, and they kind of thought that she attacked Justin about the whole Simon thing because they kind of got all of her people killed.
Yeah.
So they thought it might have been Jadis to avenge her people. But one thing which is awesome to see, is Jadis, when she gets cornered and gets attacked mentally, she breaks down to that person she used to be, where she speaks in just similar words and there's no adjectives, and she's like, "What? You fear me?" Like
Right.
you can see her become that animal she used to be at the garbage
But
dump.
you also have to figure out with her character, is she lying to you off the bat? Like,
Right.
she's quick. She's quick with coming up with a solution. Like,
Sure.
she's quick with telling the preacher, like, trying to back up what her case is. So you never know whether or not she's lying or telling the truth. And,
Sure.
well, poor preacher got a hand job, and now we don't know what's going to happen to him.
Yeah, he likes to watch. So Jadis went back to the garbage dump, right? She would walk in there. Obviously, Morgan wasn't there where she left him. But we do see that she goes back to her little box that she has on the side of the dump, and she has a walkie-talkie in there. It looked almost like a satellite phone. It was very more intricate than a regular walkie-talkie.
Right.
And she talks to the helicopter guy. She goes, "Hey, I saw you. I know you see me. I know you're on." And they have this conversation, this dialogue, talking about, you have to give me somebody. I've been giving you someone for a long time. You owe me. And you see her regressing back again. Like, she owes this guy a major debt. And she's been doing this for a long time. She's been giving him people.
And does she owe him a debt because she didn't deliver when she had Rick?
Right.
So there's debts to be paid for sure. And poor Peach, all he wanted was a little loving.
And if you look at the poster of this season as well, you'll see the helicopter in the poster. So whatever's happening here is going to play a big part in this whole arc.
Right.
They're very meticulous about these things.
Right.
And so he asked her, he goes, "I want an A or a B person." And she goes, "What's it going to be?" And he says, "I want an A." Well, we don't know what A and B means. We're thinking alpha and beta, like a more dominant or a submissive.
Right.
And then Gabriel follows her to the dump and confronts her.
But he ends up not being submissive because he stands up for his people. So, and then all of a sudden A. So you gotta, my assumption is the A is the non-submissive.
Alpha.
Exactly, the alpha of the group. So what she probably wanted Rick for, that didn't work out for her in the last episodes. So.
Yeah, so then when we come back, we actually, after the whole after the whole skirmish at the camp, at the bridge, they pair off in teams to go find the missing saviors. Daryl and Maggie are together. Rick's off with somebody else.
Right.
And they actually come to find out, they find the dead body of the savior with a harpoon arrow in her chest.
And immediately Daryl says,
Yes.
"I know who did this.
And I know where they
absolutely know who did this."
Yeah.
So cool. Me, I'm a dumbass. I didn't figure it out.
Right.
I didn't figure it out till you come to the house and they're standing right there. And then it's like, duh, they're Oceanside. They
Right.
have a harpoon. Makes sense. So I didn't figure it out. I thought that was the best twist in a long time for the show. I thought it was great because I did not see that coming.
So what I didn't get was the girl that got hit in the back of the head is the one that had the harpoon in her arm.
Yeah.
So she must have played like she got hurt, even though she wasn't.
Absolutely.
Right?
And she got up just fine. So
Yes.
yeah, she
Like,
played it off.
I was knocked out and someone died. It's
Right.
weird.
Totally played it off.
Yeah,
so
so-
and could like again, more from the show that I didn't see it coming. And then the Oceanside girls show up, and I thought, oh, this is going to get interesting.
So in the beginning episode, the very beginning, we see that Justin was killed and that zombies were eating him, and we see him become a zombie. So then we see him, we see them back at that same place. And this is where Oceanside used to be. This is where they had their family and their friends. It was like a rehab center. And this is where Simon and Negan came through and killed all the men in their camp, including the main character's little brother.
11-year-old boy, right?
That she needed.
And yeah, exactly. And she pleaded for his life.
Yes.
Didn't happen. And you got to give, like, it was such a great twist. It was such a great twist. No exceptions. And then now we got to move on to, so Maggie and Daryl witness this trauma going on and witness that pain that Cindy's feeling.
Sure.
And feel that. And Maggie, not forgiving Negan anyway, still hasn't got over it yet. She doesn't even understand why Negan's still alive.
Right.
So you got to figure she's putting all of that energy into this action that's about to happen.
And it gets so deep. So the girl that trapped these sabers and has been killing them said, "We only now feel empowered to do this because you killed the guy at the hilltop. I forget his name. The mayor up there.
Governor. No, not the governor. Gregory.
You killed Gregory. The reason we have the power to do this." And Maggie's all, "You're killing him because of me?" And she goes, "Yeah, you give us the power that they have to answer to these things." And Maggie and Daryl are like, "Oh shit!" Like they're now building laws and ways people get in trouble. When you kill somebody, there's going to be laws against that. There's going to be reprimands for that. And now people are just well enough killing people, but they're killing saviors. So Maggie's like, they're still just killing saviors. It's not a big deal. And so first thing Daryl says is, "Hey, they got a reason, whatever." And then Maggie turns around and walks away, and Daryl follows her.
And you see her, but you see Maggie conflicted a little bit.
Yes.
You see her conflict, like martial law. That's rough. Like she did what she had to do, and Gregory had so many stupid times, like 3 strikes in California, right? That dude had 7 strikes, right?
Well, do you think it was more conflicted or more like becoming more empowered? Because the first thing she goes is like, she kind of justifies it, was like, "Oh, you know what?" And she walks away and goes, "We tried Rick's way."
I feel like she was a little conflicted only because you're a human being, you're putting somebody to death. So I do feel that, but in the end, you can tell she never believed in Rick's way. Like she knew, and Daryl is just, it's never gonna happen.
Yep.
And so them two together as a powerhouse being like, it's not gonna work. Like you feel that, and you feel such a strong bond and such a connection, and like a power couple without being a power couple. So.
But just before that, Maggie even talking to Daryl was like, "How can you stand this?" And Maggie goes, "You know what? This is the best thing for Herschel." She goes, "It really is the best for the future. Rick's absolutely right. And I have to get past myself because this is the best for Herschel's future.
Right.
A copacetic society."
Right.
But, she's got these feelings and she's a badass, and I don't know. It came blowing over the top, and now they're just like, "Fuck it. We're going to do our own thing." But then they were going to go see Negan. She goes, "It's about time."
They were going to go see Negan for sure, but the whole, we can't like kind of overplay like that controversy with the sanctuary people. Like you can't, like Carol had a knife to her throat, right? And she figured it out, like, I'm gonna do this, and they still don't kill the fucking bastard. Like I don't even know how that happens, but whatever.
Every life counts, right?
Still Rick being the goody angel now, whatever he's being, but like there's so much that happened in that episode, and to see like Daryl and Maggie, like they're never gonna change. They really aren't gonna change. Like some of the saviors, the blonde in the beginning, like you see some of them are trying to change, and I don't know the dude that everyone says is gonna be like the next kind of Jesus character, the next Rick after Rick is gone, but it's such a fundamental part of like the episode, what's gonna happen. So we'll see.
Well, goddamn good review, shorty.
Oh, that's mine.
Oh.
Thank you.
Cheers. Cheers.
I don't know. Cheers.
All right. This is the part of the show where we break down the whiskey we've been drinking all night.
Absolutely. So we have some Crown Royal Blender's Mash. We've been sipping on it for a minute now. I'm going to take a taste right now.
This is Crown Royal's attempt at making an American bourbon. It's got subtle oaky notes, it's vanilla, but it's not hot. I mean, they actually aged it well.
Yep.
It's probably aged 5 or 6 years. It's delicious, has a nice golden brown color to it. And a lot of Crown Royal stuff like apple and maple are just too much. This is an amazing bourbon. Like, I'm a big fan of, like, Basil Hayden, Crown Royal, Maker's Mark. This totally hits the mark. I mean, they really nailed an American bourbon, and they're from Canada.
What I like is it doesn't burn going down. Like super easy to drink. I enjoy it.
Yeah, Crown Royal always has an easy finish, you know, tell by their fancy bags. Like they're here to have a good time.
Well, this one has a fancy white bag.
Oh, you don't have the bag. You're
and
right.
we don't have the bag.
Yeah, if you're a Crown Royal fan, you're a big fan of the bags as well.
You know, everybody knows the Crown Royal bag.
Right.
This is a fancy white bag.
I want a big sleeping bag like that. Yeah, it's really good. This thing will actually tuck you in at night. Very good finish. I drink my bourbon straight. It's no problem drinking this all night.
Super delicious.
Awesome. Well, let's give one more cheers to that.
All right, one more cheers.
Thank you, Crown Royal. You make a delicious bourbon.
You didn't ask who this bourbon was for. I had it in my head.
We still can. So, Shorty, this Blenders Mash whiskey, who on The Walking Dead do you think would drink a whiskey like this?
Okay, I got this one.
You got it.
A lot of times, even the last episode, I got wishy-washy. I actually changed my person that was going to drink this.
Yeah.
This is Ezekiel. So now why I'm going to say Ezekiel? Because it's a bourbon, and we can't call it a bourbon, and he's a king, but we all know he's not a king. So it's kind of like
royalty.
Yeah, it's a little on the royalty side. A little shenanigans going on because it's not really what it seems, or it is what it seems, but we can't call it what it seems. So that's why I say Ezekiel.
This is going to be my Jesus whiskey.
Really?
He's very smooth. He's always the shining light in the room. He's very fancy. He's got a smooth finish to all of his words. Here's the stuff very well.
You made me change. You talked me into changing my Jesus vote last time. Damn you!
This is relative. This is my feeling.
I was so excited that I had it's Ezekiel. It's totally and.
Huzzah! I like Ezekiel too.
Whatever.
Thank you guys. Good review. Good night.
Turd. Why you gotta pull out the Jesus card? God damn you!
Perfect.